A bunch of soldiers from the U.S. are on a mission to accomplish a certain thing that we don't care about, and they fly home, but weather says you'll crash down and you'll like it. As they assess things, they realize that they're in North Korea, man, and they must rely on Rockman, played by Chase Stokes. He isn't a lead. Rockman, played by Chase Stokes, as well as the voice of Ruby and Ruby Gilman, Teenage Crack and Valiant. One is the film that I'm reviewing. Valiant 1 is the latest film from Briarcliff Entertainment, aka Asylum, but for theaters. They did Werewolves, which was really fucking bad, and now they've done Valiant 1. A military film that is like Land of Bad with about 5% of the budget. Can you guess how I fucking felt about this movie? This movie is dumb as hell. I'm not even going to mix words. It is dumb as hell. And while I'm sure that everybody gave their best effort, their best efforts were not nearly enough to save this absolutely dreadful, dreary, and just doldrum-based military thriller with a little bit of action. Some of the worst CGI sparks I have seen this side of the 1990s. And this was actually written this was written by a few other people, by the way. It was written and directed by Steve Barrett, who helped produce Hitman, which explains a lot, Just Getting Started, which also explains a lot, and Knucklehead. He's done good films, just none of those three. He also did The Marine 2 and Diary of the Dead. That explains why I hated this. I retro-reviewed Diary of the Dead, and you can watch Diary of the Dead, and then if you actually don't feel like you are a fucking zombie halfway through it, credit to you. So this is also featuring a story by two people. It took two people to come up with this story. Two people. Remember that. Remember the fact it took two people to come up with this story. Daniel Myrick, who did Blair Witch 1 and 2. What? The guy that did the Blair Witch story did this. Anyway, Eric Tipton, who did Mixed Signals. So Lana Condor, who was, yes, Ruby Gilman and Ruby Gilman Teenage Crack, and she's also been in some other stuff. She has potential to be a star. You do have Desmond Borges, who plays Josh Weaver. He is a tech guy. And you also have Daniel Jun, or June. If I mispronounce that, I do apologize. I just want to point out Chase Stokes, who I'm sure is a nice guy. But Land of Bad, if you thought Land of Bad had a terrible lead and had just really, really bland action scenes and a bland story behind enemy lines and all that and everything and having to fight your way out, if you thought that was bland, well, congratulations. You saw the better rendition, because this features some of the dumbest goddamn soldiers, some of the goddamn, lamest shootout scenes. And look, I know the film clearly had a budget of about 50 grand, maybe 100 grand. And if it cost any more than that, I'd be amazed. It is supposed to be in North Korea, but it was filmed in Vancouver, I believe Vancouver, British Columbia, and the environs. And look, I don't expect them to shoot in North Korea or even South Korea. But being in the Pacific Northwest, I couldn't help but notice that it basically looks like the goddamn foliage here. And I'm talking right in my neck of the woods. Because Vancouver is about 2.5 hours from me, to be perfectly honest. And I've seen enough of it to know, hey, there ain't a lot of difference from the forest up there to the forest here. So, yeah, trying to accomplish this mission, they have to fight out from the behind North Korean lines. And according to this movie, there's like 20 people in the North Korean army. And I know it's an outpost. And they're in, the wilderness, the countryside, whatever the countryside qualifies as in North Korea. And I don't expect anything to be historically accurate or even kind of accurate, but these motherfuckers would have been shot on sight. They absolutely would have been shot on sight. There are very few U.S. people that aren't immediately shot on sight. Very few outsiders that are not, again, shot on sight when they get in North Korea. So, this is paralyzingly dull. This is really, really bad. They try to add a little backstory to some of these characters. They try to add a kid a little bit later on. I might be spoiling a few things. I don't really fucking care, because spoiling this is not going to fucking matter. It's really not. And the thing is this movie offends me because this got a theatrical release. Yet there are streaming movies that have to fight to even get a little bit of a limited theatrical release. There are Oscar winners or Oscar contenders, and even Oscar winners in the past, that barely got any kind of theatrical release, yet this got a pretty sizable theatrical release. And then suckers like me will see it. So yeah, Valiant won. I mean, there's Warfare coming out a little bit later, the movie, and hopefully just the movie and not the actual Warfare. It looks a hell of a lot better than this. And I recognize when you have a limited budget, you have to work within the system and do what you can. But in any attempts to add any depth to these characters, you just realize they are cookie cutter, they are cardboard, they are rice paper. And the fact is, this movie has such a terrible third act, I actually was astonished. It instantly lost me in the opening. I'm like, you know what, movies can get me back. No, this movie didn't fucking get me back. It just continued to lose me and lose me and lose me. It's in theaters. I'm getting into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. This is terrible. This is fucking terrible. An abomination, for God's sakes. So we start with a shootout in a cave, or a tunnel. And then it says, inspired by true events, heroes are not born, they are made. Apparently on a conveyor belt, like this goddamn movie. So, Chase Stokes once again as Rockman. And I'm just going to call him that because it's just fun. I just want to picture him as Mega Man, you know, the knockoff guy. And by the way, in case I just misheard and he's not Rockman, I'm going to call him Rockman. And he should have taken a goddamn energy pill or whatever and gotten Rush and, you know, just slid along and gotten out of North Korea. So they go to do something. They go to test some stuff. Some wires are cut. They're doing this remote outpost. Something or other. By the way, according to this movie, there are about 10 people in the U.S. Army. And their helicopter ends up hitting some turbulent winds and whatever and crashes. One guy's pinned. He uses a grenade to blow up some people a little bit later because he's pinned against a tree. Weaver's a goddamn tech weakling that tries to give up, forgetting that you will be shot on sight again. And basically the idea is their numbers continue to dwindle. They end up running into a North Korean family, trying to revive one of their injured commanding officers, I think. I don't fucking know what rank he was. I don't care. The main characters basically are Selby, Lana, Condor. This should have gotten in the way of the Condor. Nevertheless, Chase Stokes, and again, there are people trying in this, but it's like you can just tell this movie has absolutely no meat to it. They share some stuff about, you know, their backgrounds, mainly Selby and Rockman, who again needed goddamn Zero to help him out. And Dr. Light and Dr. Wowie. That's a deep cut for people that actually remember bad video game, you know, voiceovers. They are able to reason with this South Korean man that is basically just wondering how the fuck these U.S. soldiers got into his shed. Recognizing that, A, they should be shot on sight. B, he will probably be shot on sight for this too. And then they end up basically sort of reasoning with the guy. The guy has a wife. And there's a kid hidden in the floorboards. A kid that could be theirs, or a kid that could have had their family shot. And they're just keeping because maybe the kid, I don't know, the parents are military prisoners or something. I don't know. We don't know because we didn't have any subtitles because this movie couldn't afford subtitles for the South Korean people. Good job. Good job, you dumb fucks. Oh yes, and also Daniel June, or John. His grandmother was South Korean. He actually had a little bit of a twinge of a flashback because there was this old song played by the little girl. I did not catch the little girl's name. I don't care. I don't have anything against the kid. But, mind you, the parents, or whoever these people are, end up getting shot. And then these remaining soldiers have a goddamn firefight. They take the girl with them, but they can't start the truck. The truck runs on wood. I will admit that is fairly creative, and I guess that makes sense considering resources probably aren't exactly plentiful in North Korea, given the fact that they're run by a dictatorship authoritarian piece of shit that basically looks like he's one hamburger away from goddamn croaking. If only our current leader had that happen to him, along with his entire administration. But let's move on from that. Yeah, the kid's rescued. They manage to they try to have Daniel June pose as, a South Korean man, but since he doesn't speak Korean, and because Lana Condor doesn't, only the kid does, they have to get in a firefight with these, few soldiers. Again, there are barely any soldiers. Man, they can't keep track of anything in North Korea. And the idea is they are all trying to get to this one particular location where they can be rescued. Well, they sense metal. And it's, oh my god, this is all ridiculous. They sense metal, but they can't find the metal. They're in the woods. Oh, wait, there's a tunnel. Oh, let's go this way. I believe Chase Stokes asks, which way is north? And yes, the metal was messing with the goddamn compass. How do you not know which direction north is or south is? How do you not know that? So, yeah, then basically we get back to the beginning with the firefight in the tunnel, or the cave, or whatever. And Rockman decides, I am going to sacrifice myself. And he gets shot. Everybody, it's seemingly all over the soldiers are yelling at him, and then laser pointers, and then the U.S. soldiers that were going to rescue them show up conveniently, rescue them, take them on the goddamn thing, and him and Selby say, let's go home. Yeah, let's go home. Let's send this movie home. Let's send everybody to a goddamn home so they can be studied and hopefully prodded. And maybe we can figure out through lengthy, horrible experiments what the fuck Briarcliff Entertainment has been doing. They're quickly getting to the point where they're going to unseat Blumhouse as my least favorite studio. My God. There's a difference between making movies that are supposed to be popcorn, popcorn entertainment, and horrible entertainment. And this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Gets an F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.